welcome to the Unlock Your Limitless Potential podcast. I am your host, Amy Moore, also known as Amy Hates Carrots, and I am a transformational coach, a trainer of many subconscious, somatic, and energetic modalities, and a spiritual business mentor who is here to support you in quieting that darn carrot-chasing ego, aligning to what your soul is calling you to instead, and diving deep within to activate the limitless potential and wisdom that already exists within you now. On this podcast, you'll learn all about your inner world, how to create the reality that you want, how to make decisions that support your truest, most limitless self, and how to create positive and lasting change in your life and your soul-driven business. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's dive in, shall we? Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Unlock Your Limitless Potential. Today, I am joined by the amazing Angie Rojo, who is an entrepreneur, an intentional living and self-love mentor, and a speaker. And she facilitates workshops and does one-on-one work, and it's all tailored to journey through the quantum field. So her mission in life is to guide people to live more intentionally, more joyfully, and with purpose. And she has been an active leader and facilitator in the spiritual space since 2002. She's a certified QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique practitioner, and facilitator of BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing. And during those sessions, you get to time travel, you get to go into other lifetimes, ultimately connect with your higher self. And they're just very, very special, unique experiences. And that is what I have been able to experience with her through one-on-one and the beautiful group sessions that she facilitates for others. So my very first BQH session with Angie, I connected to my higher self and received answers to questions that I had like my entire lifetime. It was such a profound experience for me, and I felt so called to study the modality, to learn how to use it, to bring it into my own life and my work with others. And Angie has been this beautiful like mentor and guide for me through that entire experience. So I'm just so grateful for her beautiful, loving energy. And I'm so excited to geek out with you today, Angie. Welcome.
Thank you again. Thank you for having me. And I'm really excited that you're doing this podcast. I think it's such a great form for people to learn and to listen and just, multitask and do the things of life.
Yes, exactly. Because there's a lot of components that go into life.
Yeah.
And what's so beautiful too is like Angie is in a very different chapter right now. We were just like briefly chatting before I hit record of like entering into motherhood and navigating all of that. And so I'm excited to just like kind of talk about transitioning through these different chapters and how that's looked and felt for you. But I guess before we go there, can we kind of talk about your very special like spiritual journey? I believe I heard you say before, it was like a very young childhood age where you were already really connecting to past lifetimes and like time travel. And it started very young. And then as these things developed, you found the tools to be able to have other people like almost experience what you have been experiencing your whole life. Is that kind of right?
Yeah. No, you exactly it.
Oh my gosh. So how was that?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it was always just where do I begin? I feel like it was always just not connected to the earthly experience, not connected to my life, not connected to my body, because I was always so aware and felt so connected to other lifetimes and more so other realms. So, I always felt like when I looked at myself in the mirror, I never recognized my face or my body. I would feel very disconnected. And so it was a little confusing. I almost felt like I was kind of born into the wrong family. Just a lot of just, I don't belong here. Why am I here? So it was a lot of although it sounds very like cool and exciting and wow, you were so aware of past lives. It wasn't something that I could talk to other people about until I found those niches and those groups of people in different religious forms. But I always had to hold back up until recently. And I'm just so grateful for technology and just being able to hear other people express their experiences and their knowledge and wisdom, because it makes you feel like you're not crazy and you're at home, which is why I love facilitating in this space, and it's still so taboo. I feel like regardless of us feeling at home and feeling so safe talking about higher self, talking about past lives, talking about angels and, all the things, I feel like it's still going to be taboo. I feel we're still going against the grain, against what society deems as normal. So, but now I feel so grounded in my body and so self-aware. And I just feel like I have all these incredible tools that I've gained throughout my life, through trial and error and through meeting, sometimes the right people, sometimes the wrong people. But I feel like I have a lot of great discernment. So again, it was different being aware of past lives in either dream states or deja vu, flashbacks, glitches in the matrix, and also feeling so connected to certain people in my life that I would come across. But now looking back, I'm 36, about to be 37. Now it all makes sense, you know? So
Yes.
yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. That would be, yeah, such a challenging thing to navigate when there's no one to look to for guidance or to like really have a deeper understanding of what's going on when no one else can really relate to what you're experiencing. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And to be a child going through that as well. So it's just so beautiful that you didn't like turn down the volume on all of that and just completely disconnect from it, like being able to allow it to still exist, even if it was just like not advertised to anybody else, like just kind of holding it in the safe space within until it was like ready to be shared. I'm so glad that like you allowed that connection to remain. That is a really beautiful, courageous thing, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I would add that, I'm so happy you shared it that way, because I've done several podcast interviews and I've never heard it expressed that way. Like, you didn't turn down the volume. You kind of, and it's so true, as much as I would have wanted to turn down the volume, they would still persist. My guides would still persist. So if I wanted to, and here's it, like, I think anyone listening to this could learn from this message, is that as much as we want to detour from our path or our purpose in life, our mission, we will always get slapped in the face, um, or something will happen to get our attention in order to get back on track. Especially now, I feel like our missions are so important in today's time. I feel like right now we're in such an important pivotal time of what the futures will be, or is already. And as much as I wanted to turn down the volume, something always happened for me to get back on track, or to perhaps not go down a certain path. One example I'll share is when I was about 18, 19 years old, I was about to I was practicing Nichiren Buddhism at the time for a couple of years, and I was witnessing or experiencing a lot of ghost experiences, like a lot of paranormal things, such as my radio turning on in the middle of the night, going on to like super loud volume, hearing a lot of different things where people around me would hear it as well. Anyways, from that, I got a tarot reading from this lady who was my childhood best friend's mother or stepmom. And through that tarot reading, I then found a lineage of religion called what here in the States is called Santeria. So I became ordained a priestess, daughter of Oshun and Obatala, in the religion for 7 years. But had I not gone through that path of that religious passage in my life, I feel like my life would have been completely different. I was a little bit, I mean, at the time I was listening to like, or it was the era of like VH1, real world, like drinking and partying. And, like I went through that phase, and I feel like I was going through a really self-destructive path. Despite practicing Buddhism, I had like my moments, and I feel like when you have a mission in this life, the darkness is always trying to attack. And I was definitely in my low moments where this religion interfered and intervened in my life. So it came at a moment where I needed that discipline, because it did require a lot of discipline and focus. And I do feel like it was connected to a past life as well. So anyways, I'm sharing that because I feel like as much as we want to turn down the volume or distract ourselves or whatever, the universe will always nudge us or get our attention one way or another. So yeah, that's always important to look out for those signs and listen. If we don't listen, it's again with the slap in the face. Sometimes that happens in the form of an illness, a car accident. Usually, when someone passes away, they intervene in the other side. A lot of changes happen in our lives. A lot of getting back in line. So yeah, something like that will always get our attention to get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the slap in the face metaphor. It really can feel like that sometimes,
Yeah.
like whiplash from it all. But it's like it can get louder and louder until you pivot and get back on track, right? So, yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. And that is
Yeah.
a powerful example. That was yeah, a huge part of your journey, right? Just like all of the lessons from that experience. And yeah, who knows like how many past versions of you had to go through that like initiation of some kind, So my goodness, thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So how has this all kind of led to your work in the world?
You like my childhood experience or
Yeah, just
yeah.
this journey, the spiritual journey with these, you have these gifts inside, you know that they're there. Um, are you still kind of not sharing it with anybody and starting a business, like feeling called to start your business?
So I feel like there's several things happening right now in this moment. Because again, I was a practicing beyond quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, gosh, for about 7 years now, I want to say.
Okay.
And beyond quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, that's when I started sessions online, since 2019. I want to say 2019, 2020 was when I really took the online, obviously, because of everyone was going online at the time.
Yeah.
But things have changed for sure.
I'm so
I
sorry, Angie. I don't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt. I think I was like super vague. I just mean like starting your business, the very first like call to start a business.
Uh-huh.
Were you like at that time back then, like incorporating your gifts?
I understand what you're saying. Okay. I feel like we always incorporate our gifts.
Okay.
I think we dismiss the power of our presence.
Mm,
anywhere and anything we do. So for me, when I, for example, was because I was always in a leadership role in whatever dynamic I went into, just because the vibration of higher self is my, I want to say home, and it's home for everyone, but that's where I really identify. That's where I really felt I understood the world. Past lives. Okay, there's one of us, but there's different versions of us, different aspects of us. I was always very aware of that. So I think having that knowledge and that experience helped when I met people that came from different paths. And so in that sense, I was able to and am able to, as a human, have compassion and empathy, but also navigate different worlds and connect with different worlds. And again, back to the darkness, there is dark energy and dark forces around us, but we have to always remember that love and the light will always win, and is incredibly powerful, like the most powerful, pure, truthful thing that we have in this planet, on this planet. And so I think remembering and anchoring in that has been my I guess greatest tool in navigating sessions or navigating readings or workshops, whether it's like big groups or one-on-one. So just one, being so angry, because I have come across um distractions, I want to say, even in my day-to-day, and just having that tool of like love and light is the ultimate truth, regardless of people's fears, of people's experiences. Everything has a purpose, everything has a lesson. Everything's created to expand us, to break our heart open, to then let the light in. So having that awareness and that discernment has been so key in my work.
so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And you've
Yes.
experienced it, so I'd love to hear your insight
Yes.
too.
No, I haven't. It's so beautiful. I love how you worded that too. Of course, it's like our gifts are us, and we're going to put that into anything that we create, anything we actually do in this life. Like it's going to be, as long as the intention is there, it's going to come from your heart, from this place of love through the gifts that you have. So, yeah, it's so beautiful how you worded all of that. And it's I can feel the love and the intention that you put into everything that you do. Even just like connecting with you in this moment, it's such a safe, loving space that you create for everybody, and witnessing you like facilitate the larger group sessions, for example, for Beyond Quantum Healing. It's such a special experience, like to witness you be the guide and allow people, because everyone's having like a very unique, custom, individual experience, going
Mhm.
to places, learning things, seeing things, and we come back and connect together, and you invite anyone to share. And it's so beautiful how woven together every individual's journey, like the messages received are messages that everyone in the group needs to hear. Like it's such a magical experience. And um I love going to them. They are so wonderful. I always get so much out of it. It's like, okay, where are we going today? What is there for me to uncover and discover about me and like my journey and where I've been and where I'm going and just all of the things. So it's so wonderful. And thank you just for like sharing with the world, I think is like what I was trying to say, just like actually letting people know more about like what you had kind of kept within out of safety for yourself, and just like people not like being able to resonate with it back then. I'm just so grateful that you like fully opened up to the world the way that you have now, and are sharing all of that in all of the ways that you do. It is so inspiring to witness. And even just like your vulnerability in sharing like this chapter of your life of navigating motherhood. Like, I love watching your Instagram stories and just like seeing your beautiful. Angie has two beautiful little daughters right now, and she is in full mama mode, and she shares such like important information and just like shows the duality of it all and how it's all in existence at the same time. So I would love to talk to you more about that too. Tell us first about your amazing daughters.
Thank you, Amy. Honestly, you said you're so inspiring. You are so inspiring. Like just connecting with you in your light and just your radiance. I hope that you see that and you feel that because
Oh,
I'm just so grateful. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. That's so
Yeah.
lovely.
I think that as people, we don't give ourselves enough credit to realize like how much we're creating positive effects into our lives and other people's lives. So thank you for doing this and for being who you are. Um, yeah, the girls, oh my goodness. They are so Magnolia's 2.5 right now, and Denali is 4 months, 4.5. She's about to be 5 months next week, actually. Um, the girls have grounded me entirely. When I said I couldn't identify with myself in the mirror, the girls have definitely initiated that connection of cosmic and human for me. Like I would not be the woman I am today with such grit and discernment and devotion, focus, and decisiveness. Had the girls not given me that initiation, I feel like I needed it. I was so connected to the cosmos before. I felt like I was so much there and not here. And I had this battle of like, yeah, I have this mission, but why do I have to be here? Like, literally, I was a struggle. But the girls, as soon as Magnolia was born, that in itself was an initiation. I had this really profound, you know, other dimensional experience the first night that she was born, where I saw future self and this realm where all of these like really people fully in their intention in their body and their careers were all working together, and I was part of this system, this ecosystem, from like athletes to actors to like, I mean, not to say that they're more than they're just so focused and so know who they are. Just think of the mindset of an athlete. So I saw a glimpse of that, and it really, and then I saw this like little lion that was drowning, and oh my gosh, I'm going off, but you guys don't even know like what happened. So I saw this little lion that was trying to tread water in a river. So when Magnolia was born, quick little side story, I had my placenta basically bursted in my uterus. So Magnolia swallowed a lot of the blood, and when she was born, she wasn't breathing. And so she needed a lot of help, and she ended up in the NICU, which is ICU for children, for babies. And so she ended up there for 15 days, and those 15 days were spiritual warfare for me, on so many levels. Imagine, one, postpartum hormones, but also this new world has opened up in my realm. And I was always have been very aware of angels and energies and whatnot. So that was like in my reality, like in my face the whole time while navigating the trauma of, my baby and myself. And anyways, so that was a huge initiation in me fully being in my body. It was like, okay, now you're here. And now the mission's become a lot more, not stronger, but like concrete. So that has been motherhood for me. Motherhood has been like, on one hand, there is this nudge of like, don't forget the mission. On the other hand, it's like, you're a mom and you've got to take care of these girls, and you've got to be the best me I could be to be present for them and to be, you know, to bring joy to their lives. And for myself to also be fully who I am. So it's been an interesting battle, but you know, as we talked about earlier, as much as I sometimes am like, okay, well, I'm going to close up shop and dedicate my life to motherhood, there is that nudge. And there is like the angels are like, you know, constantly sending me angel numbers or little nudges or a dream or something happens where they're like, don't forget, you know, like, yeah. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, how am I going to do both? How, you know, kids are 24/7. Like you're basically like three people in one. But somehow they're like, you're going to do it. You're going to be able to do it. And my dream, honestly, is to full throttle have a business where I'm impacting lives or helping other people navigate their lives globally. However that will happen, I surrender the how, because I feel like I would get so depressed in the how. And also be such a present mom and also have them come along for the ride and come along for the journey and not be away from them too long or at all, you know, if that's possible. So that's the bigger vision of where this is all going. But right now, it's enjoying them, enjoying their connection. I feel that we've all had a past life together, and now we're back and we're gonna somehow do something important together, which I feel like we already are. And also enjoying them as little ones, you know, like their little personalities. And Magnolia has a speech delay right now, and it's like trusting there's a reason why she has a speech delay and why, you know, I'm always asking why. But understanding the spiritual side of things, but also taking action in the earthly side of things. So we have a busy schedule with her. We have speech therapy twice a week. We have physical therapy every other week. We have an infant teacher that comes to the house. We have an OT specialist that comes to the house to work with her. So it's like supporting her every way we can, but also realizing like, why does Magnolia need to have all this support at such a young age? Like she has so many eyes on her on such an expert level. Like, I don't know how this will all affect her in a positive way. I feel like only positive can come from this, but I'm curious to know, like, what is her mission, you know, and how can I best support that? So that's where I am right now in terms of my day-to-day, is really just preparing for the bigger picture and navigating. And I'm so glad that, you know, we do have 9 months to be pregnant, because if it happens overnight, oh my God, you lose every, you know, your mind over it. Also, like babies growing up, you know, you kind of go through the newborn and you know, the babbling and the teething and then the crawling. I'm so grateful that it happens so slow, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And it reminds me of life. Like, imagine if you were to have the quote unquote success that we envision for ourselves. Like, would we be able to juggle it all and have that discernment and groundedness and stay true to our core values and character, you know? So I feel like it's all symbolic, and I feel like it's all so important. And I used to be in a battle of like, okay, I need to get back to work. I need to get back to work. And then I was reminded, hey, like who you are is your work, you know? So I had a really profound experience during an ayahuasca journey several years ago, where I asked, what do I share on social media? You know, what am I going to share? Like, what is it that will impact people most, that people want to hear? I want to add value to the world. And immediately when I asked that question, I purged so much. Like, purging is when you throw up or you have to go to the restroom, but it's a form of getting like a negative or dark energy out. Not energy, but something stuck within you that's like not adding value to your body. So think of when like and this is generally speaking to anyone listening, think of when you go to the restroom, you're basically getting waste out of your body, right? Like you no longer need that. So you need to let that go. So it's kind of the same concept. And so that happened, and that rarely had happened during ayahuasca ceremony. So I never got the answer of what I was to share on social. Never got it. But years later, I was doing this rose ceremony. And as you know, Amy, everything is the quantum world, right? So we just have to look a little closer. I was doing this rose ceremony, and the rose spoke to me, and it answered that question. This was years later. It answered the question that I asked during ayahuasca, and it said, "Share your life." Like, share your life. And at the time, I was so in doubt of other people's perception of my life, that I wouldn't share. And I would be like, so people are going to judge me. Truthfully speaking, people are always judging. Like, it's our nature. We're human. So it was just getting over that hurdle and getting over like my overthinking. So yeah, I don't know.
I love that. I'm so glad you brought that up too. It's interesting, like how we do kind of like put things in categories like career, business, relationships, like motherhood, all of these things. And they are their own like entities almost. For I don't know what word I'm trying to think of right there, but like, what if life purpose, which I actually believe this to be true, is like it's just being the truest version of you and like coming home to the remembering of who that is. And through like self-love and all of the beautiful like work that you do. And so it's so like, what do I share on social media? It's like, well, what if just like your own story, your own unique lived experiences are enough to like help someone else feel less alone or feel inspired or feel loved or feel seen or like whatever it is that they are in need of. And it can be that simple because it is just you, like being you. And even like now navigating motherhood too, it's like the best version of you is the truest version of you, and showing her fully to your gorgeous daughters, like that's the best thing you can do, I think. And so, yeah, I'm like scattered with my words right now, but that was like what was coming up for me with your story. And I love that you received that message and started just sharing your life, because
Mhm.
it really is so inspiring to see, like, I am not a mother and I learned so much from you, and just like you navigating motherhood and just literally sharing what's on your heart, like just being you. And it's so beautiful because like I feel like we all can do that for each other anytime.
Yeah. 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 And it's funny because like I still feel like when you were saying, I'm like, but I don't even share enough, there's still that like it's not enough, or I hold myself back, or I don't know. But like you said, remembering that we are enough, whatever that
Yes. I think too, there's like this added layer of pressure, especially like in the entrepreneur bubble. It's like you feel like you have to show up more, you have to be there more, you have to like, there has to be more and more and more. And like, what if it's just about the immediate people around you in this particular chapter, and it doesn't have to like be this internet like
True. It's so true.
visibility as well, but also it's like it's great that like we all want it to be, but I need to take this advice myself. It's like, what if just being present where you are without like projecting it out into the whole world is enough, and it will somehow get to more people in some way, shape, or form, and like trusting that process a bit more.
And to add to that, I feel like people can feel it. People can feel when it's grounded and it feels good to us versus like that hustle mentality of I need to put things out because I need to keep up, or that person
Yeah.
puts out 20 items of content a day or a week or whatever. Uh you can feel that. You can feel that difference in that vibration. And so it's so true to honor, and this is for myself as well. It's like right now, obviously the girls are my main focus and priority at this moment. And honoring that is very important. And then also kind of forcing myself to share on social is important as well. It's so funny. Yesterday I saw this post, and it was this kid. He's like, I say kid, but he's probably like in his early mid-20s. I don't know. I don't know why. Really, when you see people online and you're like, man, that person feels like soul family. So this guy on YouTube, he totally feels like soul family. He has no idea who I am, but somehow like I love the way he talks and his life. Anyways, so I saw a post. I don't know his last name, so I'm not even going to say who he is, but he shared this post yesterday, and it was about him. I think his mom was like from in an abusive relationship with his dad. I don't know. But somehow they were in an abusive dynamic, and his promise was that he was going to work so hard that he would take care of his mom and basically provide her like this lavish lifestyle. And he attained that, but he documented everything on the way. So he actually dropped out of school and like shared all his whole process is documented on YouTube. I
Wow.
think it's like a mon something. And he was talking about people like, I don't know, hating on him a little bit. And sorry. So he's talking about how people talk about prioritizing happiness and how
Mhm.
like you have to be happy in life and how, and he was like, this isn't his caption, had I prioritized happiness, I wouldn't be where I am today. He was like, he was talking about the, I think he has like 150 people employed under his umbrella businesses.
Wow.
And he had pictures of like him taking care of his mom and videos of him like opening the door for his mom and like them getting into this like luxury car and everything. And he was like, I stay true to my goals and my vision and what I need to do. He goes, prioritize contentment versus happiness.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that really, because sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Like, man, I did not, my baby wakes up at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. And yeah, I'd love to sleep a little more, but I have to get up. And so it's
Yeah.
like little things like that in motherhood right now are so symbolic to the bigger picture.
Mm.
And it's almost like my little boot camp of what's to come. Um, but yeah, it's like, okay, it's not, yeah, joy is the bigger picture, but it's joy in the moments.
Mm.
It's not living in a joyful state of mind. That would be a little crazy all the time. So I don't know where that came from, but I had to share that somehow with something you mentioned. I don't know.
Yeah, that resonates so much. And yeah, it's like joy in the present, but you need the polarity of all experience as well. And like, I love that contentment because there is stuff that needs to get done. There is work to do in order to, especially if you feel called to this like certain mission in your life and you're constantly being nudged or slapped in the face by the universe, like you're going to have to do something about that. It isn't just like laying around all day and like not doing anything. Like you can just completely numb out and ignore it all, or you can choose to like embrace that mission fully. And that's going to take that like a level of inspired action, like a devotion to the mission itself. And each chapter of your life is going to look different in that, but you still like are ultimately in that place of devotion for it. And I love the symbolism from the girls so much. Like babies and little people, they can teach us so much. Just the learning of something new, and like they fall so many times trying to walk or trying to stand up, and it's like it could hurt sometimes. You fall on your butt, you fall over, you hit your head on the table, whatever it is, you cry, you do it again. Like you keep going for the thing, because that is ultimate. Like there's a knowing within you that that's what you need to do. And I know that's like probably a simplistic example of
No, oh
it,
my gosh.
but
No, I love that you said that. I love because that happens. Sorry, just finish and I'll have to share something.
oh yeah, no, that was really it. It's just like I feel like that's kind of what he was saying, this like creator, and just you have to be committed to that, just like as committed as that very determined baby is to walk. They're going to hit so many roadblocks through that process, but they're never going to give up on themselves.
Yeah. I love that you use that analogy. Magnolia, she's 2.5. So I'm teaching her to do a lot of things. I don't even know let's say she has like a toy and it's in a box and she has to open the box in order to get everything out. I'll show her how to open the box and then I'll have her do it next. And then I'll close it again and give it to her so she can do it again. And honestly, by this point, she's probably frustrated, but it reminds me of the universe. And it's like, okay, I'll show you how to do it. I'll give you an opportunity to do it yourself. And then we're going to practice again to make sure you've got it down. Do you know what I mean? But it can be so frustrating. You're like, why am I in this again? It can be
Yeah,
from relationships to like, I don't know, it's just across the board, anything. But yeah, I love that
absolutely.
analogy.
Yeah. And just like the mom teaching the daughter that, it's like the universe is presenting us with those those lessons, those opportunities to open the box.
Mhm.
It's like, did you do it this time? Did you follow through this time? Are you going to lay around today, or are you going to like actually allow what what you're being called to be this like motivation and driving factor for you in your life? So, oh my gosh, Angie, I love everything that you're sharing. So I feel like I'm at my maximum word count of the word inspiration on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad that the little that I can share right now is making some positive ripple effects in the world. Because I do feel like it's not full force. I feel like it's probably 10% of what I envision on a regular basis, ideally one day. But I'm glad that it's doing something, which is why I said yes to this opportunity to connect with you and record this podcast.
Oh, thank you too. I'm so grateful that you're here, because there's so many like juicy little nuggets in everything that is being shared today that I know there's people that just need to hear it. And that 10% that you're sharing, I really hope that like there's so much noise and information right now, and like it can be so overwhelming for people. And so like when they are able to see you and connect with you in those 10% moments, it's like they're busy too. Like everyone is just like doing all these things. And so that moment when you do get to connect, like it's so beautiful to see you and like witness what's going on and like your energy and just any message that you're sharing, just like with your super like authentic heart, just like being so real. But it truly like I feel so fully it is enough. You are doing like more than enough. Like motherhood, I can only fathom. Like it is, like you said, like at least 3 different jobs. I think it's like 1,001 jobs a day. So just being present for that and being present for these beautiful little souls that you are witnessing growing right in front of your eyes. That is the most important thing. And Yeah, we are all so lucky if you even take a second to share any of that because it's like, how the heck are you even making this happen right now? In fact, you just led like a group beyond quantum healing session last month, I think it was. And I was so bummed that I missed it, but how did it go for you? Like how was it coming back after Denali's birth?
Yeah. Oh, wow. It was, you know, I had separation anxiety with Magnolia, so it was hard for me to dive back into work, although I did right away, actually. But with Denali, for some reason, I'm taking a little bit longer to get things. Well, now I have two. That's why. um, it was just what I needed. It was a very small, intimate group. The first person that signed up is a peer of mine, which I feel like I felt so, when you're like, okay, first I've hesitated to put it together because I was like, I haven't put out enough content to let people know that I also do this, time travel thing and not just motherhood, because I've just been sharing, my life as a mom. So I had that doubt. And then I was like, well, people remember, kind of revamping the energy a little bit. So I hesitated putting it together. I put it together. I didn't really share too much about it because I was caught up in mom life. But it was a perfect intimate group of ladies that were just so ready to pour into themselves. As you know, like if you put aside any time to do anything for yourself, you're pouring into yourself. Like it's so special and so unique. Um and I just honor these ladies so much, so it was just a perfect container for me to get back into the groove of things. I'm glad it wasn't a big group, although I could easily hold space for a big group. I just felt like it was just so tender and so, the universe saying, okay, Ange, here are the little waves, here are the little waves of holding space again. But I was planning to do one at the end of May. I think it's going to be a little crazy. But I think middle of June, ideally middle of June, and ideally would be again monthly. But I am working on an online course. I have my signature program called Self Mastery Through Self Love, which was launched in 2018. Took a break for a while because, mom life. But I am revamping that on a new level, new energy. Obviously, I've learned so much in the last 2.5 years of being a mama and navigating the cosmos and the earth. And just integrating a lot into that course. It's going to be a course / live experience, not live, like as in person. No, we all have lives. I love in-person things, but like we're all busy. So if we can like quickly jump online and get a little boost, a little rewiring, I find so much value in that. So it'll be an online experience as well. So yeah, that'll be coming, I want to say July. Yeah.
Amazing. I
So
love
that's
that.
what I'm working on right now.
That's awesome that like you're feeling called to that, but like allowing yourself space and just like whatever pace that needs to be for you. I receive this message all the time, so I'm just going to quickly share it here because even as a reminder for myself, I literally have a post-it right here too, and it says slow and steady. Like I'm always in this, my mind goes to the future with everything. And so it's like, I want to hurry and get this done because it's going to help these people. And this thing's going to support these people and this and this and this. And it's just like, the creation process is really fun for me. But like, what is the rush? Again, if this is like the mission that your heart is calling you to in this lifetime, then we have this whole lifetime. Like we got like a good chunk of years left to do these things at least. And that's just in this lifetime. So it's almost like just kind of giving yourself that permission slip of Like, I allow this to be at the pace that is going to work with the obligations I have in this current chapter of my life, and like just allowing that to be enough, because it's from a place of love. It's from a place of like filling your own cup too, so that there's something to give to other people from your cup later. And yeah, the slow and steady, like no rush here.
Yeah, slow and steady. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Um, I've been getting these epiphanies that there are industries that have not even been created yet that we are going to step
Mm.
into. And it's just, I feel like having faith in our path, in our rhythm, and anyone listening as well, whoever resonates with this, having faith in it and understanding it. Like there are things that are going to happen that we can't even predict will happen in the best way possible for ourselves, our lives. So there is no rush. I think there are things that we can't even predict. I mean, obviously with duh, but there is a reason why right now there is this pace. It's not quite time yet.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
like the seeds are sprouting underneath the ground. Like it's not the blooming phase just yet.
exactly. Exactly. I agree.
The roses are coming.
I
I love
agree.
that. Oh my gosh. I just got the most beautiful visual. Oh, Angie, I could talk to you all day, seriously. I just, again, like, thank you so much for being here, and especially like in this chapter that you are in, and not like being all the places all the time in like super work mode. Like, I just really extra appreciate this time. Like, I know it's away from your daughters right now, and that means the world to me that you made this space today. So thank you. When the time does come for like any upcoming things that you have, what is the best way for people to find you and like connect with you?
Yeah, so Instagram would be the best place. It's at Inspired with Angie. And on there, I have my link in bio, which will have links to sign up for my newsletter, which is where I will be announcing upcoming events, besides announcing it on Instagram, but also being in a more intimate space. So the link is in my bio for that. But Instagram is my most active place right now. I do have a YouTube channel, which I am praying to create more content for, which I love long form content. So yeah, it'll all be announced in my Instagram either way. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you, Amy. So grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would be so dang grateful if you shared it with others, subscribed to this podcast, and left an awesome review. You can also connect with me anytime on your favorite social platform at Amy Hates Carrots, or visit amyhatescarrots.com for all of my latest offers and free goodies that will help further support you on your journey. And just as a reminder, you, my dear, are truly limitless, and every single thing that you need is already within you now. You get to choose at any moment to live as the truest version of you and come home to the remembering of your unlimited power. I love you and your gorgeous soul so much, and I hope that you have a limitless day.